Greetings, students, and welcome to another fun-filled day here at Horror in the Halls. Welcome to Horror in the Halls. I am Bob, aka Mr. Holland.
And I'm Jenny, aka Mrs. Hill.
I thought you were going to leave off the AKA. I was like, how dare you? How dare you? And as you couldn't tell from our ridiculous intro there, we're both teachers who just so happen to love horror movies, horror novels, horror content, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
In general. And yeah, and we're best friends forever.
Forever. Yep.
So yeah, dude. Here it is, our first episode of just, as we say in our classrooms, this will be like our icebreaker episode, our community builders, just kind of getting to know one another. So what do you think, Jenny, with how you want to let them know about us?
Well, I think we should start with how we met this past, January?
You got hired at my job. That's how we met.
I know, but
it's so anticlimactic.
That's so rude because there's so much more than that. It's so much more than that. You thought I was going to be lame. Just tell everybody that you thought I was going to be lame.
Oh, dude. Well, because the person that you replaced who bragged about you being so awesome was not what I would call a cool person. She was nice, good teacher, but I wouldn't be like, oh my God, I want to be best friends with you. I was like, great, we're going to have another person in the hallway I don't want to talk to.
And then I walked in and I was awesome.
I know. I was like, this person has tattoos. Oh, this person has a nose ring. Okay. We can be friends. It's always what you got to work into in a classroom, or in a hallways, like your neighbors, you're there all day, 7 hours a day. And that person is not cool. It makes the whole day just.
Yeah, it really does. Makes it excruciatingly painful.
Yeah. As you know, because, you've been in some places. I've been in some other places. It's like, oh, great.
Yes.
I have to talk to you like we're buddies all day. We have nothing in common. Of course, I tried to fill you out. I'm like, what kind of stuff do you like? Okay, you like this. Oh, I like that too. Okay, we can be friends.
And then I need you to listen to this or watch this, and then we can be actual best friends.
Yeah, that was like a test. Hey, do you like this? You should watch this. Okay, cool. What do you think about that? It's like a test. Did you like that? Oh, you didn't like it? Dang. We can't be friends. Sorry. You're still in a trial period, though. I don't know. We'll have to find out how it goes.
That's rude.
I know. But anyway,
whatever. You'd be sad if I wasn't around.
Oh my God,
Just saying.
I'd quit. I wouldn't work there anymore. It'd be horrible. It'd be so terrible. Anyway, so there you go. We're teachers. We're friends. Best friends, even. Recently, though, it was an awesome new hire mid-year. It's one of those things. Every time you get a mid-year hire, it's always usually someone that probably was horrible someplace else and got fired and shouldn't be in a classroom. But you rock, and we're stoked to have you. No, it wasn't the case. You're rad. All the kids love you. I
was in an urban setting with the crazy children, and I needed a break. So
now you're in a wannabe urban setting with kids who think that's where they live.
Yeah, no. Calm down. Y'all do not know what the hood looks like.
No, you live in the States. Anyway.
Yep, exactly.
So I guess since we are teachers and this is going to be kind of our part of our identity as this podcast, why did you go into education? Just kind of let the world know why we chose this often not lauded fate career choice, I guess.
I tell my students when they ask me why did I become a teacher or how do I deal with kids all day, I say I question my life choices often. But then I laugh. I'm like, it's just a joke, y'all. But I said, but sometimes for real. So, I mean, I didn't go into education at the beginning. I wanted to be a writer, and that was like my thing. But I'm like, if I want to be completely broke for the rest of my life, that's probably where I would be if I was just writing. So, I've always worked with kids. So I thought, hey, I'll just be a teacher. And I
Yeah,
don't
it was
know. I love it most days, and then there's days where I'm like, I'm utterly exhausted and I just need to sleep. That's it.
it wasn't one of those that can't do teach situations. You just decided last minute. I'm
Kind
gonna go
of.
teach some kids. Yeah, I was kind of the opposite, I guess. I was in IT, man. Like I was in school to be an engineer, and at the time, the person I was with was a teacher, and she had these really awesome stories about like today I helped this kid learn to read this, or I taught this lesson, and had all these like just all these stories about making a difference or making an impact, and like something that was lasting. And I think at the place I was at in my life, I really wanted that. I think more than anything else, I wanted to um, make a memorable difference. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
writing a code or fixing a computer, that doesn't really do anything. So like I wanted to make a difference. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go be a special ed teacher, man. That's why I kind of got into it. I just wanted to help kids. You know, I have a lot of kids. So
Yes, you do.
I'm well versed in dealing with children. And
I,
yeah,
I feel that.
that
I
was
mean,
where I was at.
I worked in childcare for the longest time and worked at, with the YMCA after school, before and after school program. And I loved it. But I was like, why not throw in my love of reading and writing and teach the kids how to do all the things? So that's where I'm at.
And that's awesome. I'm with you on that. You know, you have to like kids to do our job. If you don't like kids, you're
Yeah.
usually not successful. And
No.
kids are not stupid. Like we both teach high school. Our kids are almost adults. They
Yeah, mine are
know when
seniors.
you don't like them. You know what I mean? Like they
Yes, they do.
know that you don't like them, and they usually will return the favor. They also do not like you, and it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So I guess like with that, you know, like I said, we're both teachers. We both have this background in like you like more of the horror novels, the scarier books, the true crime. I'm more into just classic slasher 80s 90s horror. And we kind of we're talking one day because we have a horror club for our students, right? We started that for our kids after
Yes.
school, watching the scary movies, introducing a new generation to the things we kind of grew up with, or I grew up with, and um just kind of making, you know, more well-rounded kids. Because I'll be honest, and I'm sure we'll talk about this later episodes, I hate most new horror. I think it's mostly trash. It's getting better. It is getting better. This year has been a crazy year in horror, I think, especially in
Yeah.
the theaters and whatnot. But like last 10 or so of like, God, that movie sucks. That movie sucks. That movie's so bad. And that's
Yeah.
always what I'm saying. So it's that was kind of like, yeah, let's do this. And we thought, hey, we're already, you know, have this club. Why not also have a podcast where we talk about this stuff that we like in a way that we can't talk to students about? Because, you know, I can't curse and be belligerent in the classroom, but I can on a
No, you
podcast.
cannot.
I mean, you can for like a week and then you're unemployed, but or you're on
That's
the
true.
news. I don't want to be on the news.
No, that we would be straight to the news real quick.
Oh, especially me. Giant angry teachers, belligerent or something. I can just see the headlines now. All right, man.
Yeah.
So that's yeah, that's all of our that's a lot of about us stuff while we went into education. You know, it's a calling, I think. But you
It
know,
is a
not
calling.
everyone, and for me a big thing it was like not every teacher looks the same or acts the same. So like I could take the things I love and bring them into the classroom. So I'm always trying to do like pop culture, horror stuff like into lessons. You know, I'm a big like Star Wars guy, so I'll throw like some questions about Yoda in there or something on occasions, you know, as a test option that the kids know is not an option, but just for funsies. And let them just bring in a little bit who I am into my classroom.
Yeah, I've done that with the true crime stuff last year. That was fun. And they
Oh
had
yeah,
to
yeah.
introduce them to that group Skinned. That was fun.
Oh, I'll bet.
I was like, watch this video and I want you to interpret what you see. And they're like, oh, this is so weird. Why are we listening to this? And then they would show all their friends. I'm like, but you're showing your friends.
Yeah, you thought it was
So
weird, but you liked it. I knew it.
exactly. So
just doing our part to make high schoolers cool
And
every
I started
day.
in January, and by May, the kids were like, Miss Hill does weird stuff, but we like it.
Yeah, she's our favorite. That was
Uh,
awesome.
it was fun.
You're likable. I'm like, it's cool. Like, you had to be likable, man. And like you said, we were talking before the show we started. It's like, we're not maybe full adults.
No.
Like, we're adults with children and families and whatnot. But like, I think mentally we're not all full adults. Like, and you really can't, like, to relate to kids who are 15, 16, 17, 18 years old. You can't just be like a
Stuffy.
stuffy,
Mm-mm.
corn cob up your butt kind of adult, man. You got to be
Yeah.
like, you got to be okay with like how they talk and the things they do, and and
Yeah, and I
this
have a
way,
hard time. I have a really hard
yeah.
time not laughing at some of their jokes. And
Oh
I'm
my
like,
god, I do
stop
too.
saying it. And
I'll turn
I
my
have
head
to,
away and
yeah.
chuckle.
Like, yeah, I can't. Shh, don't say that out loud. And they'll notice I'm laughing sometimes. I'm like, dang it, I'm caught.
No, I laugh on my whole body, dude. I'm like shaking. I'm like, it's not funny. It's not funny.
Oh no.
Oh man.
Well,
So let's see, what else can we tell people. So let's talk about what got us into horror. Really, what do you
yeah.
think? Well, you go first. What
Well,
got you into horror?
okay. I am a very sad case at the beginning because when I was little, I was terrified of everything. Like to the point where, like, if we went like to take a picnic somewhere, I was scared of pine cones. Like I was that kid. So, my mom and dad and them would watch movies at night, like when I would go to bed, and my room would be all the way at the other end of the hallway, and they would be watching something scary, and I could hear it, and I would poke my head out the door and be like, "Hey, can you turn it down?" Like all upset. Oh, that was me growing up. Like, but the older I got, I liked dark humor a lot. So like Tim Burton was my jam, and he still is. But um, and I think he was like my starting point, even though he's not really like scary necessarily, but like the darkness of it I loved. And then my mom introduced me to like the Universal movie monsters, like the Bela Lugosi Dracula and like Boris Karloff, and I loved all that stuff. And Renfield was like my ultimate jam. I thought he was the greatest. So like I think from then on I started watching things that were more scary. Like I thoroughly remember going to the movies and seeing The Ring the first time and how terrified we all were, and how like when we got home we would like talk to each other the next day and be like, "Oh my gosh, I went home and I had to watch like South Park, or I had to watch this." And my friend, she like turned her TV off, unplugged it, turned it around, threw a blanket over it. I'm like, I was like, "Bitch, look, she's gonna come through that TV regardless if it's plugged in."
I
First of
know, just
all,
push it off the wall to get out, dude. Come on. I
so
think so many people have that story though. Like, I've heard that The
yeah,
Ring is such a scary movie. Like, my
it
wife
is
is terrified of The
scary.
Ring. I have so many friends that
Mhm.
were like, "That was so creepy. That was so creepy." And she was, man. The way that girl moves out of that TV, that is creepy. It's not like the content necessarily. That's one of those cases of
Mm-mm.
just the acting. Like, that actress like really killed it, because like that was
Yeah, she
so
did.
creepy and uncomfortable. And you're just like, oh my god, something's on me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I was like, "Oh
uh,
no."
why are you touching me? Someone's there. I know it. And it's one of those things. It's like wild.
And it was at the point still where the TV was still doing that black fuzzy crap on the TV, and you're like, and like you hear
Oh
the
yeah.
buzz, and I'm like, that is wrong. You're playing on my fear here. Like now you just see like the
Mhm.
icon bounce back and forth, Roku, bounce, bounce, bounce,
Yeah,
bounce,
I
but
know, right?
like a screensaver. But now, like when we were watching it, it was the stupid, fuzz on the screen. So I think
That's
that made
back
it
for
more
all these.
terrifying.
For anyone that's not old enough to remember, back when you had local channels, they used to go off at a certain time. Our cable channels would go off, and it would be like, for a while, it'd be like that weird, like, Native American dude in the middle of the screen, and then it would just be fuzz at like 4 a.m. I've woken up to that many times in my life, like, like what? Oh, I
Yeah.
fell asleep.
Yeah, but after
But
that
you're
movie
right.
came out and it did that, and I'm like, nope, nope, turn it
Nope, turn
off,
it
turn it
off.
off right now, turn it off right now. Stupid.
Yeah, it's
Anyways,
not
that's where
cool.
I started. So,
Oh,
and like from
man.
there, I have a hard time with some like I don't really like a ton of gore. I know you probably do. I
Hmm.
know Johnny does. Johnny's my husband, by the way. Um, but I don't do well with rape scenes. It's kind of throws me off a lot. It makes me very uncomfortable. So I don't like
Yeah,
to
I'm
watch
not.
movies like that. So
I
like,
feel like
but
those
like
should make everyone uncomfortable, right?
some people it doesn't because
If you're not
they're
uncomfortable with a rape scene, then you might also be a rapist.
probably
You know what I mean?
it's
Like,
terrible. I
because
know.
well, that's the whole point of those scenes. It's to build like in a person with a conscience who's like normal. It's to build
Yeah.
like you being uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
No, so I'm
So
right there with you.
I'm more of a spoopy person. I like the spoopiness. I don't necessarily like it to be terrifying exactly, but like I'll watch it and then I will complain for a week or two that I watched it. And then but I'm like happy to experience it maybe just one time. Yeah, I'm not ever going to go back and watch it. You know what I'm saying? I'm that kind of
Yeah,
person. But I
so
do
you could
love
say you
horror.
saw it.
I just like certain types of horror. Like I'm not like Johnny where he watches everything. I can't watch everything. And I love practical effects. I think they're the best. So,
They
yeah.
are. I agree. I agree. Although some CG can be good,
Mhm.
and like for me, I'm kind of the opposite. Like I've been I don't remember a time when I didn't watch horror movies. Like I feel like I tell everybody all the time. I think I was my mom's test kid. Like my mom was real into horror. Like my mom's a big like Stephen King person. She's a big just like scary, creepy gore movies. Everything that's as long as it's not like possession type stuff, my mom is into it, right? And like I
Yeah.
remember like I have vivid memories and I can't remember off the top of my head which one it is. But like I'm probably four maybe and maybe three and there's a Friday the 13th where these two people like it's a vivid strong memory and they're like messing around in this yellow inflatable boat and then Jason stabs them from the bottom of the lake with this giant spear and like that's like one of my earliest memories, you know what I mean? So like my mom let me watch pretty much whatever I want. Like she'd do the whole thing like where boobs showed up on the screen. She'd be like, "Cover your face," you know what I mean? So like I've already
Yeah.
seen the titties, mom, but okay, let me put my hands on my face, you know. And but never when someone was getting like brutally murdered. It was like, "Oh, look at that." Oh, titties, cover your face, you know. And that was like my whole childhood. You know, I
Yeah.
remember watching like Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street and Halloween's and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And like we did this thing every Friday when my dad got paid. My mom we go to the video store every Friday, and it would be like a family movie for all of us to watch together. And then like she'd get a horror movie for me and her to watch, and then my brother and sister would watch when they were a little older. Because like I said, I guess maybe she decided with them they should wait a little bit. For me, it was like, nah, you're okay. I'll fuck you up early. But the rest of them, we would do that, and then we go, get some other movie that my dad might want to watch or something. It was always like 4 or 5 movies like every Friday. And
Yeah, we
I
did the
remember
same
like
thing.
it was like it was my childhood, and I turned out okay, I think, even though like I love horror movies. I love like zombies. I love old school practical effects. I will say though there is a place in some horror movies how CG just makes them better. Like I'm not the biggest fan of ghost movies just because I don't like messing around with ghosts. But like CG ghosts can look really cool and it makes it seem more real. I think that's what kind of tripped it for me. Back in the day when practical effect ghosts, you're like, come on, dog, that's obviously some shit hanging from wires. But
Yeah.
now it's like that dude is like, I don't know if that's there or not, man. I'm uncomfortable, and it made a difference, But that's pretty much like my whole life. I think I've been watching horror movies. Like I said, I can't remember which one it is, but I know I couldn't. I was not in school yet. I know that. And I just watched so many. Like we look like, ooh, this box looks cool, and it was like walking through the video
Yeah.
store aisles and looking for the coolest looking cover of something and picking it. And I've seen so many random movies that way. Mom, like, ooh, this looks cool, and I was always reading Stephen King. Like when I first started to read, and not like when I was like reading as a little kid, but once I was old enough to like understand, my mom would read a Stephen King book and then hand it to me. Like, oh, you should check this out. You'll like it. So I'm like in middle
Yeah.
school reading
So
like
you
The
skipped
Stand
like
and shit.
you skipped like Goosebumps era stuff.
Well, that wasn't even a thing for me. Like
Well,
Goosebumps is
no,
because
it's a little
say I'm
later, isn't it?
40. Yeah, it was my brother. My brother read all the Goosebumps. But my Goosebumps were Stephen King. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like my mom
exactly.
was in
That's
the crap.
way scarier.
Yeah, here, read The Stand. You'll like this. Here's it. Here's The Shining. And I'm like, all right, cool, mom, and I'm just going for it. And yeah, that was kind of my whole thing. Just watch a horror movie with my mom and have those like my childhood memories. And I just continued it. And I tried with my own kids, although like my oldest daughter, she's down to watch them.
Mm-hmm.
Some of my younger kids are okay with certain levels, but they get to an extent like, this is scary. I don't want to watch it. And I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be that dad, So I feel like my mom, as we got older, my parents were kind of young when they had me. As she got older, she got a little bit more conscientious of what we were watching. But like for me, it
Yeah.
was like, nah, you're fine. You've been watching this since you were like 3.5. You're good. So yeah, that's pretty much where I was at, man. Like I've been watching horror movies since I can remember. I can't think of a time when I wasn't into horror. You know what I mean? Like
I went through
in
a phase where
some
I
respect or
didn't
another.
like it. I think my issue was I suffered from some childhood abuse, and I had night terrors a lot. Um, so when I was going through the night terrors, I wouldn't watch anything that I felt was going to be too scary because it played on my night terrors. Like the combination was like too much. So I took a huge hiatus from horror altogether, but now I'm in a really good place mentally, and I'm like, I could go back to that. So like I think it'd be cool, like, as we're starting this podcast to kind of talk about some of the mental health stuff that's in there too. So, um, because I mean, a lot of it plays on like guilt, or it plays on like your greatest fears, or, like if you think about it, or, stuff like that, it's playing on your fears and stuff. So, like, I just think, you know, a lot of people shy away from it because they're already struggling with other things and they don't want to add to it. So like that's kind of where I was at for a long time, but now I'm good. So not to add like a darkness to to everything, but um and my kids they don't like Parker doesn't like horror at all. Like that's a no-go. He doesn't
Yeah,
even like Jurassic Park. He's
not
scared of
at
the
all. Huh?
dinosaur. And then Hayden will watch anything. I think the last movie we watched together this week, well, it was Aliens, but that's whatever. But he's watched other stuff too. But I remember first having him watch Halloween. That was hilarious. I have a video of him like at the beginning where it's got that ominous music, and she's walking up to the she's walking up to the little row of shrubs, and he's got this horrible look on his face, like he just like all the color drained, and he looks at me, he goes, "Can we watch something else?" I was like, "Okay, it's fine." I can't remember what movie he ended up choosing, but I he's gotten a
Hold
lot
on
better.
here.
He wants to watch more, I think, but
Okay, I guess we are back. We had a little technical difficulties, guys. In case you didn't know, Miss Hill
yeah.
slash Jenny lives in the sticks.
Hey, actually, I don't. I kind of do, and I kind of don't, but whatever. I'll take it.
I mean, well, I don't for sure. So we'll go with you
No, you
kind of
don't.
do. I mean, I'm on the outskirts of an actual city, I guess. I'm in the burbs, but you're like, in a whole nother county in the Doot land.
Yeah, you turn on a street and you lose service for like 10 seconds, and then you got the person back on the phone. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
me. Yeah.
And that's fine. So yeah, sometimes, hopefully in the future, that doesn't happen again. But yeah, I think the last thing we were talking about was just how my mom let me watch whatever I wanted, and I've loved horror forever.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's how we got started. How our kids are with horror, our kids. Some of my kids dig it, some of them don't. I think you were trying to tell me a story about Parker and Hayden, but you
Yeah.
sounded like a
It's okay.
robot.
Yeah. Well, I was just saying that Parker doesn't like horror at all. He's my younger one, and he's scared of Jurassic Park. Like he doesn't like any of that stuff. And then Hayden is like he's like just now dipping his feet in like to experience it. He won't watch it by himself. He wants to watch it as a family. Tries to get Parker to watch it, but I'm always like, he's not going to watch it. Leave him alone. Let him just be himself. So Parker's more of like, I want to watch SpongeBob and remember all the lines from SpongeBob kind of
Yeah.
child. And then all anime stuff. He does watch Demon Slayer, which I think is a little bit creepy at times, but he's okay with that. But that's as far as it goes. So, but
Yeah, my kids are hit and miss like that. Like my older
yeah.
daughters are down, you know. Like my
Mhm.
second oldest daughter, Lucy, like she's like loves Tim Burton, loves like American Horror Story and all this stuff. And then my son, who's my middle kid, he's not about that life either. He's like, I'm kind of scared of that. Like he'll watch certain things, and other ones he's like, that's kind of scary.
Like
But
I was surprised that Parker watched the Monster Squad. Like he actually did watch it. I
it's
was really shocked
classic.
about that.
It's a classic.
I know, but he's scared of everything.
Dude, my youngest too, though. All my girls are scared of nothing. They'll watch all the horror. Like my one daughter's, her mom made her watch Pumpkinhead, and they like love it, which is so funny. She's like, "Dad, we were watching this movie with this dude. He had this big, he looked like an alien. He had a head like a pumpkin." I was like, "Were you watching Pumpkinhead?" She was like, "Yeah, it was Pumpkinhead." And I was like, "Okay." And she was just about it, dude. You know, I'm like, and they're like 8. She was just like, "I love it. It's great." I'm like, "Oh, you're like a little me. Oh, it makes me happy."
Yeah, Johnny loves all things horror. So when Hayden's excited about it, he's like super pumped. But he's like, man, I really wish Parker's like, why don't you ever let me watch movies with y'all? And we're like, we watch movies, but you don't want to watch what we watch.
Yeah, I'm like,
So I don't.
"You're welcome to."
You can watch movies with us anytime. And then last night we watched on that 31 days of Halloween thing. We watched A House with the Clock in its walls, and he won't even watch that again. Because I remember in
Well,
the movie theater, he was scared of that movie, and I'm like, that movie was so good. And
it was good.
but he did say yesterday it was more of the fact that it was too sad than it was scary. So
Oh.
I guess I kind of get that. It is kind of sad in parts, but
Yeah, since for those listening, since we're best friends and all, we're both doing this like 31-day horror challenge. Like there's like it's from another podcast, but they have like prompts for every day, and we kind of cheated. Last night was for the kiddies, right? And but we were going to the theater to watch Halloween 78, and I was like, well, I mean, we're already going to the theater, and they're all high school kids, and there's Tommy's a kid, so whatever, it's for the kids. Halloween's for the kids. I had a little when I posted it, I was like, hashtag Michael Myers is for the children, like it was ODB or something. But
I was
yeah,
like, they are cheating. Y'all are cheating.
I totally did, because when I got home, I was tired, bro. Like I was like, man, we can stay up and watch a kid movie, but my kids aren't here, and a lot of times I'm not going to sit and watch like a cartoon horror movie like without my kids being here. Like I will watch them. Like I like House of the Clock on the Walls would have been cool.
Yeah,
there was a whole plethora of things I could have watched. But real talk, I came home, I played a video game for about 20 minutes, and then Aaron was like, I'm going to bed. And then I played a little bit longer, and then I woke up like my character was just randomly walking in a circle because I had fallen asleep. I was beat, dude. I was beat. It was a long day. It's whatever.
And it's funny is I just told you yesterday that I'm always in bed early, and I stayed up late and I watched a ghost show. And Johnny went to bed before me. But you know what? I took a nap yesterday on my heating pad because I'm old. But I took a nap, and then I drank an Alani Nu. It was witch's brew because I have to be in the Halloween spirit, And
gross,
I think
bro.
that was a huge. Excuse me.
It's too
It's
sweet,
not
man.
gross.
It feels like I'm drinking like liquid sugar out of that can.
Maybe that's that's why I'm like nom nom nom, because I don't get chocolate very much anymore. Or like, well, actually, I misbehaved a little bit yesterday. I did have a candy apple, that caramel apple sucker that I love so much.
Oh wow,
You know what I'm talking about? That's covered.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
You carry
leave
them
me
on
alone.
you at times, bro. What are you talking about?
I'm trying to live my life to the fullest. So,
you do that, man.
Halloween season, I eat them suckers like I'm never gonna get one again because they've started selling them again at the store. So I'm like, heck yeah, dude. So, but
Yeah.
anyways,
Can't have one of these until next year. It is
but it
holiday
was a huge
season, man.
mistake because I stayed up too late. And then this morning I was like, because when Johnny gets up, I'm up. It's all she wrote. So tonight I'll probably fall asleep early. Anyways,
Not I. I don't think caffeine affects me at all, to be honest, anymore. I used to. I don't think it does. I can drink like a pot of coffee and go to sleep. It sucks. It's like I drink coffee because I think I'm a teacher, and that's like part of our genetics. I think it's like comes with the job description. You have to really like coffee and drink a whole lot every day, and that's like. So I love it. I'm fancy with the bougie coffees, but it doesn't
you are
like wake me
fancy.
up anymore. I know. I just recently got my little 2-shot espresso maker out. I'm about to get fancy around here.
Espresso maker?
Yeah, it's like a 2-shot thing though, stovetop. It's cool. It's a whole. I'll show you. It's a whole different episode on that right there. It's
Okay.
nice. I got it for my birthday one year, but it's like instead of being like a whole espresso machine, because that's just ridiculous, like a giant countertop thing. It's literally like it just makes 2 shots. It sits on your stovetop.
Okay.
It's real cool. It's like Italian. It's fun.
Okay.
Anyway, back to the podcast, guys.
Yes,
So yeah. So just kind of a quick like rundown, since this whole first episode has just been about us. What our actual podcast will be about, right? So I think weekly, maybe at this point, barring any life craziness, we'll be doing
True
like
that.
this kind of a movie kind of discussion review, and then we're gonna try to find, since Miss Hill is the English teacher, the book person, the writer of the group. I draw on crayon still, so
Shut up.
she's gonna pick a book that is related, inspired by, just somehow connects to the movie we're watching, right? So you know how a lot of horror is, a lot of it is like, hell, at this point a lot of it's based on Stephen King, H.P. Lovecraft, or Edgar Allan Poe, to be honest. But those will be things we'll kind of tie into other stories. Certain books get made into it, and we'll try to read them. I can't say that I necessarily will read them, but Jenny will read them, and we will talk about it. I don't know, man.
Sure.
I used to love to read, dude, and now that it's like since I became a teacher, and you read so much nonsense that high schoolers write, I just can't read anymore. Like I try to sit down, and my brain's like, nah, homie.
Okay.
It's like,
first of all, I read 110
I know you read way more than me.
assignments, like writing assignments often. So, and the kids are always shocked when they're like, she actually does read these and she writes notes on them. I'm like, well, duh. That's what I'm supposed to do.
I know, dude.
How are you gonna get good if you don't get feedback? So, anyways,
in the future, I mean, I'm trying to, for the world to know, I'm trying to looking to transition into becoming an English teacher. That will not be the case. I will read some of it and be like, this is pretty okay. But I'll be like, hey, we're not going to write a lot because I'm going to do AP Lit or something. We're just going to read. Let's just read books. And then you tell me what it's about. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, that's going to be like kind of, I guess, our structure for our podcast, every week. I think it'd be cool to talk about, and it won't be just new stuff. We're going to jump around. Might be some spoiler crap in there. We'll talk about how we viewed it. Like, what about just a conversation, just goofy nonsense. And then, tie it to a book. What do you think?
Or a short story.
Yeah, because some stuff is hard to tie to a book. If it's original ideas or.
Yeah, and that's a lot for me to that undertaking would be large. Like I would have to have more time.
Bro, you're an English teacher, dog. You're supposed to be on it.
First of all, you have this grand idea of what an English teacher is and does, and I don't know where you have found this information, but it is incorrect.
It's because I am
not witty.
Yes, you
are.
I
am an awesome English teacher. I don't feel like I'm as witty as you think I am. The kids think I am, but see, maybe they're just lame and they just love that I'm lame. I don't know. But anyways, so I do make fun of them a lot, but I have seniors. I'm allowed to do that. But anyways, like you think I'm supposed to be like super witty all the time. I am not super witty all the time. And sometimes I'm in my salty moods.
Well, you know what? In the immortal words of Snoop Dogg, step your game up. You're in charge of this wittiness.
I mean, I
Sorry,
try.
bro. You are. You're like, I have an MFA in English. I'm so smart. I write a lot. That's your job, dude. Sorry. Get over it.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I'm the pretty one. I'm tall. I take up space. That's what I do. I write in crayons. I live that life. That's me. And you are the witty, smart one. So that's how it works.
And I'm the Hobbit sized.
I know, it is funny. It's pretty funny. For the world
Only
to know.
Hobbit size compared to you.
That's everybody though, for real. Unless you're like in the NBA or like a wrestler, you're like a small person size compared to me.
Yeah.
For all you
He's real
listeners
tall.
out there, I'm like a giant. I'm like 6'10". I'm really tall. But yeah, guys. So I think that's basically what's going to be about. You know, every week we'll come in here, we'll make fun of each other, talk about movies, and if they suck or if they're good, and then I think we're going to take turns picking them, just so I can like make fun of what Jenny picks, and then she can make fun of what I pick, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, because I'm going to pick some childlike things because that's who I am as a person.
I'm like, why did you pick this nonsense? You're like, because I love it, and then I'll make fun of
because it's great. I love it.
I know. I'm sure you'll pick like some old Tim Burton nonsense.
I am. It's already in the works.
All right. Well, I think that's pretty much all I got for this first episode. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Awesome, guys. Well, I hope you stick around and listen to us. This should be on all of your, podcast platforms, I think, at this point. Once we upload it, I guess we'll go on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, all that good stuff. Like and share. Let us know what you think. And see you guys next week.